Hey guys, in this video I wanted to take a look how we can get a correlation between two nodes, or how we can find out how often two nodes run into each other. So I wanted to go over a few examples of the guide we have for the Stackoverflow database, and then we're going to implement one of our own, which will have a bit more complexity. All right, so here we have a query for the tag correlation. Let's take a look at it. Actually, let me copy this query. For now, I'm going to run a different one. I'm just going to run a query to question, and let's return T1 question, and let's limit this to 10. I'm going to do this to make it a bit more visual. All right, so as you can see, we have question. I want to see tags. Yeah. So I want to see the tags of the other questions. All right, something like this. And now let's add this query in here. So what are we actually doing here, right? So we are matching all the tags, right? So we matched, for example, Neo4j tag, and then we are going through all the relations which go to tagged, right? So we are going through all of these relations which go to this tag, and we are finding, so here we didn't specify anything, but the only relation we can find through tagged, right, is the question, as you can see from here. And then basically, so let's take the first example. So we found Neo4j, then we are going through this relation, right? And we found this question. So we are here. And then from this question, we are going through every tagged relation. So we're gonna go here. I mean, this question has only one relation, but let's take a look at something at a different one, right? So for example, I think, yeah, this question, right? So we found once again Neo4j, and we went through this relation. Then we found this question, and it has its own tag. And for example, there are questions that we will have more tags than one, right? So it will have cypher tags, some other tags, some other tags. So we are going, so the T2 will have all the tags of this question. You can have one or multiple, right? And then in the next query, we are basically have the list of all the tags we initially found, and then we found all the tags which the questions we had here have. And then we are basically making sure that we won't use the same tags, and we are doing this using the IDs, because IDs are internal, right, and they are auto-incremented. So by isolating them like so in workflows, we're making sure that we are not duplicating our results, basically. And here they just decided to remove the Neo4j. So basically this sign means that T1 name will not equal Neo4j, and T2 name won't equal to Neo4j, because there are lots of results for this specific tag. And then basically, yeah, we are getting a count star. It means that we are counting all the paths we got in here, and this will be our frequency essentially. So let's take a look at the results. And yeah, basically we are having the T1 tag, right? So we found the tag cipher, then we found through the question, right, that it has a Neo4j APOC tag, and then through all the questions and tags we run through this query, they bumped into each other 86 times. All right, so just wanted to explain it, and yeah, I hope it's clear. So let's move on to the next one. It's also in the example. I'm gonna close this one as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump over a few, but I recommend to do all of these queries. And we're gonna do, right, this one. So let me add the question in here, not here. Right, what we can do something similar for comments, right? What keeps what keeps users on running into each other in the comments, right? Let me just remove this. So we are doing a similar thing, but we are now using more relations, right? So we are going through user to comment, who commented on the comments, and then we are running into question, right? So we are checking how often users run into each other in the questions through comments. I'm not gonna do the detailed explanation, but yeah, it's very similar, but just more relations. I wanted to show it, right? So we are going to from user to the comments. So this C1 is actually quite irrelevant. This C2 is irrelevant as well. The most important part that we are finding all the questions the first time, right? And then we are reusing the same questions. So we found, for example, user one, we found his question, and then from this question we started to look for all the comment, and then from that comment we went back to all the users these comments have, and basically the same like in the previous query, we were able to see the correlation between different users. And here they are using additional feature of the APEC library to visualize the results. Let's just run it to see how cool it is. So as you can see, we having the new graph for visualization, and we can see that, yeah, basically who run into each other, and we have a chord relation between them, and we have a frequency. All right, so we're gonna do actually one of our own, and it will be a bit more basically on top of this query, but a bit more complex. So I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm just actually gonna leave this query for now. So what we are actually gonna do is, for example, I have a user, right, and I wanna know all the occurrences with other users, but through any relation, through whichever path we have, right? So I want to get how often they run through comments, how often they run through ask relation, and how often they go through answer, right? And if we add another relation here, so for example, there will be one more, and then here, I want it to count as well. So how can we do that? All right, let's start writing the plan, what we will actually do. All right, so the first thing we need to do is find U1 and get two questions through any relations, right? And the second thing is we will find U2, a second user, and get to the same questions, right? Through any relations as well. So the plan is actually fairly simple, but how can we implement this through any relations thing, right? So let me copy just this bit. We're gonna reuse it, and let's return. All right, so what we want to do, we actually want to remove this entire part and just somehow specify any relation. So we can do it using the following syntax. We can specify the star, and then basically just we can mention here how many hops we would like to make. So if you don't recall, I mentioned earlier that a single hop is basically when we jump from a node to another node, right? So from user to comment is one hop, from comment to question is another hop. But if we are going this way, we will have two hops, right? So we are jumping to comment and then from comment to question. So this pass has two hops, and this pass, as you guessed it, has one hop because we are just jumping from user to the question. All right, so here we can specify, for example, one, which will mean we would like to go only through one single hop. So let's return u in question, and let's limit this to, I don't know, 10, and let's see what we are getting, right? So we are getting some users which hopped one time to question. And just to make sure that this is the correct result, we can mention here something like rel, and right, so it asks us to use the following way. So we can do it like so. We can specify, let me just show it the old way, the rel, but this feature will be deprecated. But nevertheless, let's add here relation, and here we will add just q.title. And as you can see, we're getting the relation. We have no properties, but we're getting type ask, type ask. How can we get only the type? I don't want to write everything like this. We can't access it directly. We can use the function called type as well, and then return like so. All right, we're getting already a list of relations. For some reason, that's weird. All right, so although here is only single path, it's already treats it as a list of relations. So what can we do here is, I think we can specify some specific user here to make it just a single pass. Display name cyber sam. No, still not. All right, so basically, to access the type on the relation, we need to use the function called type, but we are unable to use it in this specific case because we have a list of relations, and the expected property here, we're expecting just a single relation. So to get the access to single one, we will use a clause unwind, and then we will unwind of all our relations to a single relation. So this is similar to a for loop. Basically, we take in a list of relations and then we are converting into single relations. So now in our return statement, we are looping over every single relation. And now we will be getting the type of a single relation. And since it was an array, I'm gonna collect them back, right? And convert them to an array once again. Let me just show it to you. All right. So by unwind, I converted these list of relations into basically a loop, and then I collected them back, converted them to relations. So this is similar to map, right? I mapped over relation and I just extracted type and returned back the list. However, it gives me the warning. Let's just remove it. So the Neo4j would like us to use the following way. We specify the P and we remove the relation from here. And instead of rel, we will use the command relationships, I think, of P. So P will equal to this entire pass, right? It will contain all the information about this pass, and we will extract only the relations of the P, and then we will convert it, and then basically we will map over it, right? And collect them back and get the relation list. So we will get the same property. All right, so that's out of the way. Let's do the same thing, but let's do the two hops, right? What we will get. As you can see, we're getting commented. All right, once again, we are making numerous hops, and here we're getting the same results multiple times, and we can remove that by adding a distinct clause, and now we have only distinct values. All right, so we're getting the titles, and now we can see all the relations we went through, right? So we went from commented to commented on to provided to answered, right? Better to look at the second one. So here we made several hops to the same question, nevertheless. So here we went from provided to answered to get this title, and basically what the pass was from user to provided to answered, right, to the question. And as you can see here, we're getting basically them in twos, right? We don't have a single relation. We don't have asked here anymore because we specified that we would like to make exactly two hops. So we went from provided to answered, answered, commented. And here as well, we have pairs, right? So this pair is together and this pair is together. And once again, if I specify just one hop, we will get only asked because this is the only way we can get through using one hop to the question, only through ask. But when we specify two hops, we're using these two, right? And this one. All right, and one more thing, we can specify multiple path. We can specify like so. So this means that we would like to make either one or two hops. And let's see the results now. So now we're having asked, and etc. Right? We're getting all the basically both of the relations we have in our schema. So as you might have guessed, this is what we're going to use. So now let's write our query for both users. So this will be P1 and we will have P2. This will be P2 and here we will reuse the same question, right? We found the questions and now we will use the same questions. And now we will unwind relationship 1 to single rel 1 and we will do the same one for the second one. And now, as you might have guessed, we will do the same thing here. Sorry. All right, and we will get number 2. We'll get question.title, and here we will add u1 display name, and u2 display name as well. And also, like in the previous query, if you recall, what we did, we specified that we would like to make sure that we are not running into the same IDs. And let's do this as well. And here we will add as well count star as frequency. All right. And now we will order by frequency, descending, and limit to 10. All right, let's take a look at the results. And we're getting an error. All right, so what did I do wrong? Multiple result columns with the same name are not supported. Frequency, rel list 1. Oh yeah, rel list 1 as well, so this should be rel list 2. And we should remove the title actually, that's what I mentioned in the previous videos, otherwise every question is unique and we won't be able to get the frequency. All right, so this should be good now. Yes, and we are getting the results. All right, so as you can see, we have basically each user's name and how often they bumped into each other, and this is the list of all the relations, right? So as we can see, the first user went through these relations, right? So commented and asked, and the second user went only through this relation, so he was only in the comments. And we're getting, yeah, basically all the stats for various users. Yeah, so pretty cool, I think. And so this is how we can work with correlation, how we can basically loop over different path, get the type, get the relation from the type, sorry, get the relation from the path, get the type of the relation, how we can, yeah, once again loop over to unwind and then collect everything. So this was quite informative. I hope you enjoyed it. And in the next video, probably we're gonna do more on correlation in different ways we can get, yeah, we can get information regarding two nodes. So thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.